Jesus said, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, 'How many of my father's hired servants have food to spare, and here am I starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants.' So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms round him and kissed him. The son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his servants, 'Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he's found.' And so they began to celebrate. Meanwhile, the elder son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. 'Your brother has come,' he replied, 'and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound.' The elder brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, 'Look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never even gave me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him.' 'My son,' the father said, 'you're always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.'"
The Prodigal Son story is one of those parables that Jesus told that you can look at it from lots of different perspectives. It's a story you can think about over and over. There's the 2 main characters who are featured in this painting, the prodigal son and his father. Sometimes we wonder about the older brother. Sometimes we wonder, where on earth's the mum in this situation? Were there any sisters? On a Thursday lunchtime in St George's Tron, there's a Bible study group, and if you're in the building on a regular basis, you would know that it's the time of the week where you'll hear the most laughter in the building. And it's a group of guys supported by Glasgow City Mission and Bethany Christian Trust, lots of whom have been through the prison system, and they do a Bible study together, and they support one another in life. When I wanted to do a Prodigal Son painting, it made most sense to talk to the guys from that group, and Martin and David both modelled for me for the father and the son. But there's lots of ways to look at this story and to look at it again and again and again. And when we see it through the lens of someone's story who's had difficulties in their lives and had that reconciliation. Then it can shine another light on it too.
Hi there, my name's Martin. I stay in Bathgate, which is about half an hour on the train from St George's Tron. How I first became to come here was when I was in prison. I used to see David McAdam from Bethany, and I was also going to prison fellowship in Berlin, which was run by Derek Watt. So I used to go there, and I also used to go to the Sunday service. I didn't really know much about Jesus at that time, and I didn't really know why I was going, if I'm honest. But I knew that I enjoyed it, and I knew that it was nice people, and it was a welcome break from the chaos within prisons. So I got out of prison unexpectedly, and I wasn't going to church. I didn't really continue getting to know Jesus. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't doing anything. I was just really pretty down, pretty unhappy with my life in general. And as I say, I came here with David. First of all, the first time it was to get a CV, help with a CV. And when I came into the building, I really liked it. I just felt something straight away. I feel I was meant to come here. It wasn't so much the CV I was coming for. It was me coming back to connect with the Father. And yes, that's when about a week later I started going to the Thursday group, which is a group that basically is for men that have had some sort of either been in prison or some sort of addiction, but it's pretty much open to anyone. Really good bunch of guys. In terms of my own journey, since coming here 18 months ago, about 8 months ago I felt that I wanted to regularly attend a church and possibly be quite involved with things within the church. It wasn't really practical for me to come all the way from Bathgate to St George's Tron a couple of times a week. As good as the Thursday group is, I felt maybe there might be something closer to home. I wasn't really sure where to go or stuff like that, and it was just something that was sort of at the back of my mind and had been spoke about once or twice. And around about this time, a letter, like a leaflet, came through my letterbox. It was for a church called Centrepoint in Bathgate. I'd never heard of it. It turns out it was just up the road, about 40 feet from my address. I'd lived there for about 11 years with my mum, any time I wasn't in prison, and I didn't even know it was there. So we went along. Well, I went along first of all with David, the guy with the bald head in this picture. I went along with him, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, much like when I came here with David the first time, I felt that I wanted to go there. I felt I belonged. And about 6 months after that, on the 5th of May 2019, I was baptised in Centrepoint by Pastor Tom, and since then I've made a lot of good friends in Centrepoint Church, and I feel I'm very much part of the Lord's family, but also the family of Centrepoint. And it's been a great journey, and it's also been a journey which in recent times my mother's started to be on. My mother has also had some problems in her life. Is a very quiet person, has had a lot of mental health problems and things like that, and she's been coming along to Centrepoint and really enjoying it as well, and she's getting to know the Lord now as well. And generally, overall, my mother's doing very well. There was a storm that she's just been through, but yeah, things are very much great.
My name's David McAdam. I work for Connect to Community, part of Bethany Christian Trust, to support men and women coming out of prison by connecting them with followers of Jesus in local churches who will walk with them as they try to reintegrate into society and rebuild their lives after time in prison. I first met Martin, who's featured in this painting, a few years ago in prison. He was there after some very difficult times in his teenage years, when a combination of bad home circumstances and bad decisions on Martin's point led to addiction issues, anxiety issues and violence, and he found himself in prison. When I met him, he was in a very low place and suffering great anxiety. And through the friendship of a Christian friend, a mentor, his interest in life and his control of his anxiety began to change. We run a little group here in the Wild Olive Tree on Thursdays for men who've just come out of prison to study the Bible, and Martin asked if he could come along. And ever since he's come, the last two and a half years, his faith in Jesus has grown significant. He's come to understand that he's a beloved child of God. He's recognized in Jesus the forgiveness for his past, and he's coming to that place that was described in the story of sensing God as his Father and embracing him and clothing him. And that's given him a fresh dignity, a fresh sense of who he is, and a great joy. And we've been delighted to celebrate as we've seen Martin, who in many senses was dead to this world and to God and lost, coming home, finding himself, finding God and coming alive.